It's the same story, night after night for so many of us. Isn't it? You drift off. Everything feels calm. And then bam! Your eyes are wide open, staring at the ceiling, and the clock on the nightstand glows. 3:00 a.m. Or maybe it's 3:15 or 3:30. But it's always right around that time. It feels like your body has a built-in alarm clock set for the middle of the night. And no matter how tired you are, sleep just won't come back. You lie there, mind racing, worries popping up out of nowhere. And the longer you're awake, the more frustrated you get. It feels isolating, doesn't it? Like everyone else is sleeping peacefully while you're stuck in this cycle. You might wonder if something is seriously wrong, or if this is just part of getting older. While it's incredibly common, waking up consistently at 3 a.m. isn't something you just have to accept. There are real, often surprising, reasons behind it, and many of them can be gently addressed. It's not some big, complex mystery. Sometimes, the answer is much simpler than you'd think. In this video, we're going to look at some of the often overlooked culprits behind those early morning wake-up calls and, more importantly, simple, practical ways you can start encouraging your body to sleep right through the night. We'll explore things you might not even realize are affecting your sleep. Watch to the end for something that will surprise you, something that could make a real difference. Let's dive right in and talk about one of the biggest, yet often ignored, players in this 3 a.m. drama, your blood sugar. Now, I know what you might be thinking. My blood sugar is fine. But hear me out for a moment, because even if you don't have diabetes or specific blood sugar issues that you know of, subtle fluctuations can still disrupt your sleep, especially as we get a little older. Our bodies are always working to keep things balanced, and that includes the level of sugar, or glucose. In our blood, this glucose is our body's main energy source. When you eat, your blood sugar goes up, and then insulin helps bring it back down. While you're sleeping, your body is fasting, and it needs to keep a steady supply of glucose available for your brain and other functions. Sometimes, if your blood sugar drops too low overnight, we call this hypoglycemia. Your body sees it as an emergency. To fix it, it releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Now, these hormones are fantastic if you need to run away from danger, but they are not good for sleeping. They ramp up your heart rate, make you feel anxious or even shaky, and yes, they can jolt you wide awake. And guess what time this often happens? You guessed it, right around 3 a.m. after several hours of not eating. So, what can cause this dip? Well, it might be linked to when and what you eat, or even if you eat before bed. Skipping dinner altogether, for instance, means you're going a very long stretch without fuel, increasing the chance of a dip. Or perhaps you have dinner early in the evening and then nothing else for 12 or more hours. Another common culprit is having a sugary snack or dessert too close to bedtime. You get a quick spike in blood sugar, and your body responds by releasing a surge of insulin to deal with it. This can sometimes overcorrect, causing your blood sugar to crash a few hours later, right in the middle of the night. Think about it, you have that slice of cake or those biscuits around 8 p.m. By 3 a.m., that sugar has been processed, and your levels might be dipping significantly. The body's panic signal goes off, and you're awake. What can you do about this? It's simpler than you might think. The key is trying to keep your blood sugar levels more stable throughout the night. First, try not to skip dinner, and aim to have it at a reasonable time. Not too early, but also not so late that it's a heavy meal right before bed. If you find yourself consistently waking up around 3 a.m. feeling a bit shaky, hungry, or even just wide awake with your mind buzzing, a small, balanced snack about an hour or two before bed might help. We're not talking about raiding the biscuit tin. Think of something that combines a little bit of protein and healthy fat, like a small handful of almonds or walnuts, a spoonful of Greek yogurt, or a few slices of apple with a little peanut butter. These types of foods are digested slowly and release glucose gradually, helping to keep your blood sugar on a more even keel overnight. Avoid sugary snacks or large amounts of simple carbohydrates right before lights out. Even a glass of fruit juice can cause that unwanted spike and crash. Just this small change in your evening routine, being mindful of that pre-sleep snack or lack thereof, can make a surprising difference in whether your body decides to send out those wake-up hormones in the middle of the night. It's not a guaranteed fix for everyone, of course, because sleep is complicated, but it's a very common reason for that specific 3 a.m. wake-up, and it's worth experimenting with gently. Now, beyond what you put in your stomach food-wise, there's something else you might be drinking that's secretly sabotaging your sleep at that exact hour, carrying on from thinking about what you consume. Let's talk about something else you might be having in the evening liquids, and I'm not just talking about that cup of tea right before bed, although that can be part of it. As we get a bit older, our bladders can become a little less efficient at holding urine throughout the night, and the signal to go can become more insistent. Waking up needing to use the bathroom is a prime reason for interrupting sleep. And often, once you're up and moving, it can be hard to fall back asleep, even if the bladder signal was the initial trigger. While the need to go might feel sudden, the liquid you consumed hours earlier is finally making its way through your system. If you're having large drinks late in the evening, say after dinner, you're essentially setting yourself up for a nighttime trip to the bathroom right around that 3 a.m. mark, depending on when you went to bed. Beyond just the volume of liquid, what you're drinking matters too. Certain drinks are diuretics, meaning they encourage your body to produce more urine. Coffee and tea, even decaf for some people, can have this effect, and alcohol is a big one. While a glass of wine or beer in the evening might initially make you feel sleepy, as your body metabolizes it a few hours later, it actually disrupts your sleep architecture, making it lighter and more fragmented, and acts as a diuretic. So, you might fall asleep easily after that drink, but your body wakes you up a few hours later feeling dehydrated and often needing the loo. That 3 a.m. wake-up after an evening drink is incredibly common, because that's often when the alcohol has been processed enough to start causing these disruptive effects. What's the simple fix here? Try tapering off your fluid intake in the couple of hours leading up to bedtime. That doesn't mean dehydrating yourself during the day. Staying well hydrated throughout the day is important, but consciously reducing how much you drink and what you drink in the 2 to 3 hours before you plan to go to sleep. If you usually have a cup of tea around 9 p.m. and go to bed at 10:30, try having your last drink, ideally just water or a small amount, by 8 true or 8:30 p.m. instead. This gives your body time to process the liquid before you settle down for the night. If you do need to take medication before bed, take it with just a small sip of water, and be really mindful of alcohol and caffeine in the late afternoon and evening. Cutting off coffee after lunch and being very moderate with alcohol, or avoiding it altogether in the evening, can significantly reduce those bathroom-related wake-ups around 3 a.m. It takes a little bit of planning and adjusting your habits, but many people find this makes a tremendous difference in sleeping through the night. It's about giving your body the best chance to stay asleep undisturbed. Now, while managing what goes in your body is crucial. Sometimes the issue isn't internal at all, but external. Something in your environment you might not even notice is waking you up precisely at that hour. Let's talk about the environment you're sleeping in, because sometimes the reason you're waking up isn't about your body's internal workings as much as what's happening around you, or more specifically, the conditions in your bedroom. One of the most common environmental factors that disrupt sleep is temperature. Think about it. Have you ever woken up feeling too hot or too cold? Our bodies are very sensitive to temperature changes during the night, and if your room is either too warm or too chilly, it can pull you out of deeper sleep cycles. As we age, our body's ability to regulate temperature while we're sleeping can change a bit, making us even more susceptible to these fluctuations. The ideal temperature for most people to sleep well is actually cooler than you might think. often somewhere between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, about 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. A room that's too warm can be particularly disruptive, leading to restlessness and waking up feeling sweaty and uncomfortable, often in the early hours when your body temperature might naturally be at its lowest point overnight, making you more sensitive to an overly warm room. Another silent sleep saboteur in your environment could be light or noise. You might think your room is dark and quiet enough, but even small sources of light, like a digital clock display, a charging phone, or light peeking in from under a door or around curtains, can be enough to disrupt your body's production of melatonin, the hormone that helps you stay asleep. Your brain registers that light, even through closed eyelids, and it can signal that it's time to wake up, especially during lighter stages of sleep that often occur later in the night. Similarly, noise that you might not even consciously register, a dripping tap, a clock ticking loudly, traffic outside, a partner snoring, or even the hum of an appliance can cause micro-arousals that pull you out of deep sleep. While you might not fully wake up every time, it fragments your sleep quality. And sometimes, a slightly louder or more persistent noise can be the final straw that brings you to full consciousness around 3 a.m. when the world outside might briefly quiet down, making smaller sounds more noticeable. Or, conversely, when certain nighttime noises like distant traffic or heating systems kick in. So, how can you make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary and tackle these environmental disruptions? First, focus on temperature. Try setting your thermostat a little lower than you normally would for daytime. Experiment to find the temperature that feels comfortably cool to you. Use breathable bedding, like cotton or linen, and layer blankets so you can easily add or remove them during the night if you get too warm or cool. For light, make your bedroom as dark as possible. Consider blackout curtains or blinds. Remove unnecessary electronic devices that emit light, or cover any persistent lights like alarm clocks. If you need a nightlight for safety, choose a very dim one with a red or amber bulb, as these colors are less disruptive to melatonin production than blue or white light. For noise, try using earplugs, especially if you have a noisy partner or live in a busy area. A white noise machine or a fan can also be incredibly helpful. Consistent, gentle background noise can mask sudden disruptive sounds and create a soothing environment that promotes continuous sleep. It's like creating a buffer zone for your ears. Implementing these environmental changes, controlling temperature, light, and sound, might seem simple, but they create the optimal conditions for your body to stay asleep once you drift off. It's about removing the subtle nudges that might be prematurely waking you up. But sometimes, it's not just about the physical environment. It's about the environment inside your head. Specifically, the worries and anxieties that often seem loudest in the quiet of the night. Let's talk about what's often rumbling around in your mind, especially when the house is quiet and it feels like you're the only one awake. For many people, waking up at 3 a.m. is strongly linked to stress and anxiety. Maybe you fall asleep easily, but when you surface in the middle of the night, your brain immediately switches into worry mode. All those thoughts you pushed away during the day, concerns about finances, family, health, or even smaller, everyday worries, come flooding back with surprising intensity. At 3 a.m., problems that might seem manageable in the daylight can feel overwhelming and impossible to solve. Your mind starts racing, dwelling on what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. This mental activation is the opposite of what you need for sleep. It triggers your body's stress response, releasing those same hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, that we talked about earlier with blood sugar. They make your heart race, your thoughts spin, and your body feels alert and ready for action, definitely not ready to go back to sleep. Why does this happen specifically around 3 a.m.? Well, our sleep cycles naturally get lighter as the night progresses. After several hours of sleep, you're more likely to be in a lighter stage of sleep or even briefly awake without realizing it. And it's during these lighter periods that the worrying mind can easily take over. Also, cortisol levels, which are typically low in the early part of the night, naturally start to rise in the hours leading up to waking up in the morning. If you're prone to anxiety, this natural rise in cortisol can be amplified, triggering that flood of worries right around that 3 a.m. mark. It becomes a vicious cycle. Stress makes it hard to sleep, and lack of sleep makes you more stressed and anxious during the day, which then makes it harder to sleep the next night. So, how do you quiet that noisy mind when it starts up in the middle of the night? The key is to avoid getting frustrated or engaging fully with the worries. If you wake up and your mind starts racing, try not to lie in bed tossing and turning for too long. If you're still wide awake after 15-20 minutes, get out of bed. Go to another room if possible, somewhere dim and quiet. Do something calming and non-stimulating. Don't turn on bright lights or look at screens. The blue light is too disruptive. Instead, try reading a physical book, something relaxing, not stimulating, listening to quiet music or a podcast, or doing some gentle stretching or meditation. Have a notebook and pen handy. If worries are flooding your mind, quickly jot them down. The act of writing them down can help to get them out of your head and onto the page, almost like parking them until morning. Tell yourself you'll deal with them tomorrow when you're thinking more clearly. Beyond dealing with the middle of the night racing thoughts, establishing a calming bedtime routine can help prevent the worries from becoming overwhelming in the first place. Dedicate the hour before bed to winding down. Avoid stressful conversations, watching the news, or doing anything too mentally taxing. Instead, try gentle activities like taking a warm bath, listening to relaxing music, reading something lighthearted, or practicing some simple mindfulness or deep breathing exercises. There are many guided meditations specifically for sleep that you can listen to. Learning relaxation techniques and practicing them regularly, not just when you're trying to fall asleep, can help lower your overall stress levels and make you less reactive when those worries pop up. It takes practice, but training your brain to associate your bed and the nighttime hours with calm and rest, rather than worry and frustration, is incredibly powerful for overcoming that 3 a.m. wake-up call driven by anxiety. Now, combining these strategies is where the real magic happens. So, we've talked about blood sugar dips, those sneaky evening liquids and the bladder's protest, the temperature and other disruptions in your bedroom environment, and the powerful impact of stress and a racing mind. It might seem like a lot to take in, but the wonderful thing is that these are all areas where you have the power to make gentle, positive changes. Remember how I said there was something that might surprise you? Well, it's not a single magic pill or a secret remedy. The real surprising answer for many people who keep waking up at 3 a.m. is that it's often a combination of these factors, or even something slightly different but related, all interacting in your unique body and life. And the most surprising part for many is realizing that seemingly small, unrelated habits can have such a profound effect on that specific wake-up time. For instance, maybe you have a small sugary treat after dinner, and you're feeling a bit stressed about something, and your room is slightly too warm. Each one of those might only be a minor issue on its own, but together, they create the perfect storm for waking up at 3 a.m. The blood sugar dip provides a physical trigger. The stress keeps your mind on alert, and the slightly uncomfortable temperature makes it easier for those other signals to pull you fully awake. It's like a chain reaction, and often, breaking just one link in that chain can make a big difference. The key is to become a gentle detective for your own sleep. Instead of getting frustrated, try observing what might be happening on the nights you wake up. Did you eat or drink something different in the evening? Was your room hotter than usual? Were you particularly worried about something? Keeping a simple sleep diary for a week or two can sometimes reveal patterns you weren't aware of. Note down what time you went to bed, what you ate and drank in the hours beforehand, how you felt emotionally, what the bedroom environment was like, and what time you woke up. You might start to see connections, Maybe every night you have that late biscuit. You wake up at 3 a.m. Or perhaps it's linked to evenings when you skipped your usual relaxing bedtime routine. Making changes doesn't have to be drastic. Start with one thing that seems most likely to be the culprit based on your observations. If you suspect blood sugar, try that balanced evening snack for a few nights. If you think it's the bladder, consciously cut off liquids earlier. If your mind is racing, commit to 15 minutes of quiet reading before bed. Give each change a little time to see if it helps. Be patient with yourself. It took time for this 3 a.m. pattern to develop, and it might take a little time to shift it. There will be nights when you still wake up, and that's okay. The goal isn't perfection, but progress and more nights of uninterrupted sleep. Remember, finding the answer to your 3 a.m. wake-up isn't about implementing every single tip at once and becoming overwhelmed. It's about identifying the most likely culprits for you and making gradual, sustainable adjustments. As we navigate life, our bodies and our needs change, and that includes our sleep patterns. It's perfectly normal for sleep to evolve. But constant, disruptive wake-ups around the same time aren't something you have to just power through. Taking the time to understand the potential reasons and trying these simple strategies is an act of self-care, an investment in your well-being. Don't forget to also consider the basics of good sleep hygiene that we haven't fully delved into here, but are always important, trying to go to bed and wake up around the same time each day, even on weekends. Getting some natural daylight exposure during the day, and making sure you're getting enough physical activity during the day, but not too close to bedtime. All these elements work together to support your body's natural sleep-wake cycle. Finding solutions to that frustrating 3 a.m. wake-up can feel incredibly freeing. Imagine sleeping soundly through the night and waking up feeling genuinely rested. It changes everything about your day, your energy levels, your mood, your ability to focus, and your overall enjoyment of life. It's possible, and often, the path to getting there involves these surprisingly simple adjustments to your habits and environment. You've taken a wonderful step just by watching this and learning about these possibilities. It shows you're ready to take charge and explore solutions. Remember, small changes really can make a big difference to your health and happiness. This journey to better sleep is about understanding your body and being kind to yourself as you try new things. Have you experienced any of these issues, or have you found something else that helped you stop waking up at 3 a.m.? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your insight could be exactly what someone else needs to read. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It helps others find it too. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, offering practical tips and encouragement for living your best life at every age. You deserve to sleep well and feel vibrant every single day.